Welcome to episode 2 of Psychopaths. Episode 1 was great. I was really compelled by the world and the system that this place runs under, and I just really want to see more of it. Just focusing on this one case that we did in episode 1 was really good. Really great introduction to Akane and her viewpoint on the whole thing, but I really just want to see more. I want to see more people, more of this city, more of how this system works. It was really fascinating, and yeah, I want to see more of all of it. So I'm excited to get back into it. I've got the subtitles and the timer if you want to follow along, or you can pull up the episode on your own, but either way, let's watch episode 2 in 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, so we have Kogami, because Akane shot him, paralyzed him at the end of episode 1. Coming to his senses. I would also like an update on the poor woman. I would like to know what happened with her. Hello. Thing from Land of the Lustrous. Jellyfish. Jellyfish hologram alarm clock, huh? That's nice. That even reminds you of your psychopaths. I guess powder blue is good. Does everybody have that kind of thing? They just get told what their psychopath is every morning? Does she just have that specifically? It's something you would probably constantly want to know about and constantly be aware of. But she's kind of haunted by what she went through. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the fact that she shot Kogami, I talked about that too. I don't know if there would be repercussions for that. But we'll see. I just want to see more of, like, every single facet of this world. But we didn't get the opening last week. I think the song might have played, maybe? But either way. But while the OP is playing, let me say that if you enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel. Psychopaths will be every Wednesday, and other videos every day of the week. Also, check the description down below. There's links to Twitter and Discord if you want to come hang out, and Patreon if you want to support the channel. Get the videos early, polls, vlogs, all that stuff. I like this opening. It's pretty good. The visuals are interesting too, for sure. With these two face to face. Okay. Well then, back to her morning. Okay, not working this morning. Working a little later. Just hologram to make the room look however you want. Okay. That's cool. Whatever you're in the mood for. This thing just, like, controls or monitors everything in your life. Does everybody have one of those? Do you have to buy one? Like, I don't know, how common is that? This thing just keeping, like, a specific track of every single aspect of your life. Trying to monitor you and make sure, like, you're the best you can be. Anyway. Look, nice little outfit. Why is it a jellyfish? No rain. Alright. Eating shirtless, that's kind of cool. This thing just tells you everything. Mental contamination. I'm liking the technology in this show. It's pretty fun. I can't wait to see more. Like, just seeing the city and seeing what we saw in episode 1, I wanted to see so much more, and this is really cool to seeing what kind of technology they have. That's cool. I really want to see more people too, just people in different walks of life and see what they're like. It's just this bland, boring, normal apartment, but you can spruce it up to look like this great thing when really it's not much. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, she's allowed to do that. She's allowed to shoot the enforcers. So apparently that's fine. Yeah, she's not like super crazy stressed. I mean, she is bothered by it, but it hasn't affected her hue. I don't know how exactly that all works. You know, the one lady, she got so stressed from being the victim that it was off the charts. But some people are just better at maintaining it than others, I guess. You can feel stress, but you can still keep your psychopaths down. She's like, she's reconsidering her career already. So I wonder, like, job placement in this world. Like, can you choose whatever you want? Because, like, they said that she was more suited for those other jobs, but she picked this. And they think she can do whatever she wants. But I guess this is what she wanted to do. She's just didn't know exactly what it would be like. Okay. Some pep talk from her friends to stick with the job. So now we can see what it's like at the office. Not on such a, a rough first day. How convenient. I gotta go home and change. Nope. She was one of the enforcers, right? Go hello there. Anyway, I don't know if she said anything in episode 1. What was going on in here? And why did we not stop by earlier? Anyway, hello? She noticed too, so you cannot blame me. That's the one. Yeah, let's go with that. I think he's probably fine. He was waking up before. She is? Alright. Reform the system. That's probably the goal, yeah. Maybe not in that way, but, you know. Shit. So, like, the paralyzer is pretty powerful. So, like, he was affected pretty heavily by it. Yeah, let's leave him alone for now. As long as he does get better, it just takes a while, so that thing's it packs a punch. What is all this? There's the criminal from the other day. Just play some video games. Paperwork. The most exciting part of the police procedure. Yeah, I don't know how they would feel about the whole situation. That is what happened, yes. All right. All right, he's here. Let's hope so. Well, you've got something. We've got to have. Really? They just tell you that there's been one detected in a certain area. Okay? You know, we've got to have something happen so that we can have a story. We can have an exciting episode, but maybe not something as crazy as what was in episode 1. A little bit of rest. I want to see different types of criminals, different types of ways that they're handled by Akane, and learn more about the enforcers or other inspectors. So somebody was detected here. All right. So like they just sense like the general stress level of the area. Interesting. Good disguises. Again, very handy. Can go undercover like that. And you look super fun and friendly. So it's great. She seems a little weirded out by it. So do we just have to look around for somebody who looks like they may be trouble? That wasn't hard to spot. He's being pretty suspicious. They can scan as well, I guess, but yeah. He relates to him more as a latent criminal himself, but this guy was being pretty shady. Is he jealous of that guy over there? Is he into that girl? It seems like he was watching them. What is his number up to? Well, shit. All right, under control. We did it. That went much more smoothly. Not like horribly clouded. It's therapy. Okay, he's not going to explode if we can get him some help. I don't know how therapy goes in this world, but that is true. Like he hasn't done anything. He literally didn't do anything. But maybe therapy will be good before you do something. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was just like stalking that girl, if he was some jealous guy, or what he was doing. feeling jealousy over a girl or something makes your psychopaths go up and you need therapy. Like, I don't know. Can't even walk around outside because of it. Interesting in all the ways that people are judged. Well, at least that went smoothly. Nice place. So, I was wondering about like how they're chosen for these positions. Now we know more about their lifestyle, how they can't go anywhere by themselves. They're prisoners in a way. Why indeed? Just wanted to help? Yeah. You exceeded them. You could have had other places too, but you chose to come here. So I guess it gives you like a general rankings for all these places. Like you're qualified for all this, and these are all your options that you're qualified for. And you can't choose anything above where you're qualified for, of course. But you can pick from all the different options. You were the only one, so you thought maybe that's a place specifically you should go. Something suited to you, if you were the only one who got that ranking there. Cool. Just looking for a purpose. Alright, well, maybe you'll find it. So it's not like the kind of society that you see in some stories where it just decides your job for you and just that's it. At least that's how it seems anyway. It does do that though. The most happiness. But there's a lot to think about and talk about in this show already. When you were 5? 5? What did you do when you were 5? No possibility of rehabilitation. What did you do when why? What was going on in his mind? Oh my god. See, this is so much to think about already. Like it monitors your happiness, but happiness is subjective. This guy was scanned when he was 5. What was wrong with his brain when he was 5 that made him unredeemable? Like what? What an interesting world. That kid's got a lollipop. I want that lollipop. The kid psychopath is off the charts. Like, what's wrong with him? Yeah, generally, I guess if something happened, they would just not care because they don't consider the enforcers as important people. Or as people at all, in some cases. But she feels bad about what she did, obviously. Yeah, he was gonna follow orders. Because that's just what the job was. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, this is for the good of society, so you do it without really thinking about it. Yeah. So it seems like he respects her decision and has actually kind of inspired him to rethink his ways and go back to maybe how he was when he first got involved here. Well, that's the thing. He was gonna do it. Yeah, some Makishima stuff that we don't really know the details of. She believes she did. She talked her down. Hey, look at her. She seems okay. Thank God. Well, there you go. Perfect. He's fine, you know? The bad guy exploded. She's good. So, it worked out. Okay, much more toned down episode than the first one. You know, not a crazy maniac blowing up all over the place. But good. A good change of pace. Wanted to see different aspects of the world. So, yeah. Let's see if there will be anything after the ED. Probably not. Okay, let's talk about the episode. All right, episode 2 of Psycho-Pass. Definitely toned down from the first one. Not nearly as crazy or intense, but that's a good thing. I wanted to know more about this world, see different kinds of places and people and events, and it seems like that's what we're getting here. This shows a very different side of it, seeing more of Akane's living situation, her friends, more people and places in this city that are less intense, less this woman being horribly brutalized and a man exploding, seeing a smaller time case. And that's what I wanted to see. I want to see just different kinds of things happening in this city under this system because it's really interesting. So this slows it down, but it still does a lot of world building that gives me a lot to think about. I couldn't even address it all during the reaction because when something would come up and I'd start to try to talk about it, something else would come up and I'd want to talk about that. So some things I kind of just had to let slide, and now we can talk about it here. So yeah, Akane is under no trouble whatsoever for shooting Kogami. That is well within her right, which I assume that would probably be the case, but it's a very strong paralyzer. Like, he is down for quite a while. She got him in a really good spot. Got him right on the spine, but that thing actually packs quite the punch. And so she feels bad about this, and I definitely want to see more about him, because he has this thing about Makishima, that guy that we saw at the beginning of episode 1, something that he wants to keep fighting for whatever reason. And like, she already has such a unique relationship with enforcers because she treats them like people. She'll say sorry, she'll bow down to them and stuff like that. But him basically thanking her for what she did, because, as I was saying, you know, he told her to shoot him if she felt she needed to, if he got out of hand. And then I assumed that what he had said to her or mouthed to her before she shot was like reaffirmation of that, telling her that she can do that. And it seems like that may have been the case. He is glad that she did it. He's like, I let the system take control of me. I got too into the job, because that's just what you do. That's the job. That's how the system works. They say that's for the good of society, and that's what we have to do. And so you just kind of go on autopilot and you just do it. And he was kind of upset with himself that he had gotten to that point, and he was glad that she kind of made him remember, I guess, like, why he had originally maybe wanted to be in this line of work and how he originally felt. Having that human element and making your own choice. Because I had mentioned in episode 1 with the Dominator, when they were explaining how that worked, I had questioned, like, could you possibly remove the human element from that entirely, just as an interesting thought about how the technology could work. And I think that's actually kind of an important point. Like, the Dominator, you'll point it and it'll tell you everything. Tell you what this person's psychopath is and what you should do, but you need that human element there to actually make the decision. Like, it's making all of these choices for you, but Akane is going to be the one to actually really think about it herself and make her own decisions, which will be the right thing to do, rather than just going along with what the system tells you to do just because it says so. Actually thinking about whether it's right or wrong and what you should do. Because the woman from episode 1, thank God, she's okay. I was really worried because she went through so much shit, but she seems to be doing well. She's getting therapy and things seem okay for her. And all it took was her not to fire and just to calm her down over like 5 seconds, and she's good. She would have exploded had she done what the system asked of her. But she did that very simple thing. She made her own choice and talked the woman down. Now, like, the system as a whole, maybe, or the people who run it, whatever, might say that this was a bad idea. They might say the system is always right. Like, who knows if this woman could, like, revert back in the future? What if this experience has a negative effect on her in the future? What if it hadn't worked out? Because, you know, they got the criminal. None of them got hurt except Kogami, but he's going to be okay. The woman is going to be okay. What if it hadn't worked out that way? What if something else had happened? What if you hadn't been able to talk her down? You know, hindsight's 20/20. Yeah, it did work out, but what if it hadn't? But either way, like, the point is being able to make your own moral judgments in a situation like that. So it seems like Kogami will kind of be on her side with this, which is really interesting. We'll see how that develops going forward. I'd really like to know more about, like, what exactly the system judges in someone's mind, because you can have somebody like Akane who's definitely feeling stressed and bothered by everything that she went through, but her psychopath is, like, completely clear, and I guess it's just kind of a personal thing. Some people don't let things get to them deep down as much as other people. Some people just handle it better. And I guess that she's just one of those people. She's able to handle that kind of stress better than most, and so she's actually probably a pretty good fit for this job. Maybe not for the kind of person the system might want, because she's gonna maybe go against it, but for overall the good of society and for the police force, maybe she'll be a good addition. But it's great seeing her living situation and her life outside of work and learning more about her and seeing more of the technology in this world, because you can just do whatever you want. You can introduce all kinds of future technology and you have no idea what the hell we're going to see. So seeing this thing that she wakes up to and just the system monitoring, like, every aspect of your life, like, this is your calorie count yesterday. We recommend this meal today for optimum health, and you should take a supplement to not be, like, mentally clouded or whatever, and it really is controlling, like, every aspect of your life, or at least recommending different ways to behave in all these aspects of your life, trying to monitor everyone in, like, the best way possible and just make society and everyone in it as normal and as functioning, in its opinion, as possible, like, every single aspect of it. And I think it's really nice how, like, she just has this normal, bland apartment, but you can just, with holograms, make it look however you want, which is really nice, visually. And then she leaves, and it just reverts back into just this gray, bland nothingness. I feel like that's a little bit symbolic of the city and the system as a whole. Like, it looks really nice and glamorous, but when you actually get down on the level that Akane was in episode 1 with that kind of job, and you see something like that happen, you see, oh, it's kind of a ruse. Like, everything looks really great, everybody seems to be doing just fine, but then you see, like, what that's at the sacrifice of, and it's not quite as, you know, like, romantic and great looking. But just the thing that she has to just change her clothes, how useful is that? That's incredible. And it seems like it's all just holographic, right? It can't literally be changing her clothes. So, is she naked? Like, are people naked? I don't know. Is everybody naked? They just wear hologram clothes? Do some people wear real clothes? Was the pajamas? I mean, if nobody has to sell clothes anymore, that's just a whole thing you don't even have to deal with anymore. Put a lot of places out of business, but I mean, I don't know. Does anybody have real clothes? There gotta be real clothes existing somewhere as like a model for these holograms. I don't know. I just want to know if they're naked. But yeah, it definitely seems like a society where like everything is monitored to a T to try to keep everything under control, and you don't really get to make your own choices all that much. It's not that bad. Like you see some dystopian stories or something where just everything is chosen for you. This is your job. This is everything that you do in your life. No questions. Doesn't seem to be the case here. She was able to choose from a variety of jobs. Doesn't seem like you can just accomplish anything you want, absolutely, but at least you do have some level of choice. But it's great to learn more about her and how she had these scores that exceeded this current job, but she chose this one because she was the only one who received that high mark for this job. Like there had been other people who had also received really high scores in some of the other fields that she did as well, but she was the only one who was that really high scorer for this field. So she thought, well then, maybe that means there's something there that only I can do. So she can try to find some kind of purpose. I don't know if she ever had any kind of inclination ever about law enforcement helping people. Doesn't really seem to be the case, which explains episode 1 a lot more, her being fairly inexperienced and having to be told a lot of this. She wasn't entirely cut out for it and doing it because it's specifically what she wanted to do. She's just looking for what she should do, some greater purpose, and I think she'll be able to find it here, being this person who seems to have a pretty clear, level head and the ability to think for herself. I think she'll be the perfect choice. Then we have some of the other characters, some of the other enforcers. The female one, I don't know her name yet. Was she and the blonde lady who's really hot? I don't know, because she's walking out of the room, and then you see the blonde lady in the room pulling on her stockings or whatever, which seemed like real clothes, by the way. Was something going on there? I sure hope so. But blonde lady is fun and attractive. She's a latent criminal as well. Seems like many people involved here are, except for the inspectors, I guess. I don't know. We haven't met too many people yet, but like I said, I can't wait to meet more in just every walk of life and just see all kinds of different situations and all kinds of different criminals and the way Akane reacts to all those situations. Like if we can just do some police work for a while, have some episodic stories where she just does different cases, I'd love to see that because there's so many interesting things about this world. I want to see all the different possibilities. But yeah, you have that little thing going on. You have Kagari, who was scanned when he was 5 and was deemed like untreatable. What is going on in the head of a 5-year-old that that they're not allowed out on their own without an inspector? Like they can only stay in the building in their quarters and that's it. They're basically prisoners in that way because they are latent criminals. I don't know how exactly like it's chosen who gets to be in these positions or not, but either way, when he was 5, I'm not saying 5-year-olds can't be fucked up in the head. But I mean, from what I've seen of him so far, you know, seems like a fine guy. You go to this child who's 5 and you're like, all right, kid, come with me. Your brain is fucked up. You can't be treated. We're taking you in. That's insanity. You know, you have the guy they go after in this episode, which is a much more, you know, toned down case. We don't even know the details. It just seemed like maybe this girl was his ex, or a friend that he had a crush on, or a girl that he was stalking, or I don't know, he was just looking at this couple and being real shady about it. Did literally nothing. Unless he's been stalking her for a while, but we don't know that at all. We have no context for that. From what we can tell, he's done nothing wrong. But he's taken in. You can sense that the stress level of this place has been raised. Go find the guy. There you go, take him in. He doesn't die or anything, he's going to get therapy, but it's just kind of crazy. It's not nearly as insane as episode 1, but, you know, maybe the therapy will be good for this guy, and then will be good from here on out, and the system did its job. But it's just interesting to think from the way our society works, targeting this guy, coming after him, forcefully arresting him and forcing him into therapy when he has done nothing is interesting. And, it's just seems to be what this society has deemed the most reasonable. Like, act as early as possible before anything bad happens. It's not worth risking anything bad happening. It's more worth it to take these guys down ahead of time, according to this system. And we have Masaoka, who explains why his own coefficient is as high as it is. And it's basically just because of his talent for being a cop, a detective. Being able to solve crimes is indistinguishable to the system from somebody who is likely to commit a crime, apparently. And I wonder how true that is for all of them. It seems like that's probably the case for most of the enforcers of these latent criminals who work for the police force, and calling them latent criminals in that case is insane. And maybe that's part of the process. Like, maybe they receive therapy and like go through psych evaluations and stuff to determine that like that's the reason why they were targeted, or like why their number is so high, and then they're maybe allowed to work on the force. But that's like, your police force is made up of people who are most suited for the job, and they're like forced to be there under house arrest at all times because you're calling them latent criminals. That's insanity. That's absolutely crazy. Like, it can't distinguish between those two things. So was that the case for 5-year-old Kagari? Was he a little sleuth on the playground reading his detective novels? Was he a really smart kid? Like, I don't know. That's insane. I don't know what the exact details are that it reads in your mind. If you're just real smart, is it going to think you have the capacity to commit crime? The ability to do police work makes you a latent criminal. Like, he didn't have to scam this guy to know he was up to no good. He just had to do basic ass police work. Hey, you see the guy over there hiding behind the tree, peeking out at these other people, being shady as fuck and super suspicious? Yeah. I think it could be him. I'm sure a lot of people in the society, like a lot of police officers, inspectors, or whatever, might not have been able to discern that, because in this society, I think in a lot of, I don't know the full extent, but in a lot of ways it seems thinking for yourself is kind of discouraged. So there might be some people who wouldn't have recognized the behavior of that guy, who might not know how to act for themselves other than doing what the scans, what the dominators tell them to do. Like, even the thought of making their own choice would be weird to them, and if they had to do it, they wouldn't know what to do. So in some incidents, like, things could get so far out of hand that some of these guys wouldn't even know what to do, because they just know to do what the system tells them to do. And again, I want to see how that applies in like the rest of the world, the rest of the city, and other lines of work. But yeah, I can't wait to see more. Something else Kagari said was that, oh, you can choose anything in life. You can choose any path, and you even thought about it. You're like those old people from before the Sybil system was in place. So it hasn't been in place that long, which is kind of surprising. But he says old people, so maybe like the oldest generation, people who haven't quite died out yet. Like the system was introduced then, so could be 80 years ago, 90, depends on how old we're talking, how many of those people are left around. Could be like 70 years, but not as long as I would have thought. But it's long enough to where, like, for generations to be born into it and just accept it because that's just how it is. Again, part of me is like really interested to know how it came about and how it's explained to people, and like telling society, hey, this is how it is now, and everybody being like, wait, what? Cause I brought up the Purge in episode 1, and that was a Rick and Morty joke, how they were like, so do you think when the Purge first started, everybody was just okay with it? Or do you think they were like, wait, what? It's the same kind of thing, where I don't want to know, because that's just not, I don't need to think about that. I just want to, it's interesting. The world is interesting. It has really fun ideas. Gives me a lot to think about, so I just want to see the stories that take place in the world. I don't care how it came to be. But yeah, again, I want to know more details. Like, again, you can take these tests, learn your aptitude for different fields and different jobs, and have options, but clearly you can't just choose anything you want. I want to know how limited most people are. We have our main character, Akane, who's just a super genius in all of these fields, and she actually got to make a decision, and most people, like I said before, you might not be absolutely forced into one job if you're somebody like her, but maybe other people are. Maybe there are a lot of people who just pass these tests and they have the aptitude for one specific job and they really have no choice but to take that job. I feel like the majority of people might be more along those lines, or maybe just very few options. So I can't wait to see how Akane reacts to all this. I'm enjoying her character quite a bit and seeing if she can find her purpose in this job of making the system better and reforming it. It's trying to bring the most happiness to your life in every aspect, but what it views as the grander societal happiness, might not apply to every individual person. And it doesn't seem to care. It seems to think those people are a necessary sacrifice for the greater good. And it's a really interesting world, and I can't wait to see more. Now that Kogami is up and that he and Akane had that good talk, I can't wait to see how they interact going forward. And yeah, I'm excited to keep watching the show, so let me know your thoughts on this episode. Thank you very much. Subscribe, check out the description down below, all that great stuff. Really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.